Imagine this. You sit down, determined to finally tackle that big project. Maybe it's writing a book, starting a new business, or even something smaller like clearing your inbox or working on a school assignment. The desk is clear, the plan is in your head, and the time is now, but then it happens. You glance at your phone. Just for a second, you tell yourself. There's a message from a friend, so you reply. Then you notice a notification from Instagram or TikTok. You tap it, and before you know it, you've been scrolling for 20 minutes, maybe longer. Then you decide to grab a snack or reorganize your workspace. Suddenly, hours have passed. That sinking feeling creeps in. You're disappointed in yourself, frustrated. You think, why can't I just get started? Why do I keep wasting time? We've all been there. Procrastination isn't just a bad habit. It's something much deeper. It's like a quiet thief that sneaks in and steals the time and energy you had set aside for the things that truly matter, the big dreams, the life-changing ideas. But here's the good news. Procrastination isn't permanent. It's not who you are. It's simply a pattern, a reaction, something your brain has learned over time. And just as it was learned, it can be unlearned. The real question isn't, why do I procrastinate? The question is, how do I stop it, once and for all? To overcome procrastination, we first need to understand it. The truth is, procrastination isn't about being lazy or not caring. It's actually your brain trying to protect you. Strange as it sounds, procrastination is your brain's way of avoiding discomfort, fear, or stress. Let's break it down. The first one is the fear factor. Think about this. How many times have you delayed starting something because you were afraid? Afraid of failing, of looking foolish, or even of succeeding and dealing with higher expectations? Neuroscientist Dr. Dean Burnett explains that this comes from the amygdala, a part of your brain responsible for processing emotions. When something feels uncertain or risky, your brain sends out warning signals. What if I mess up? What if people laugh at me? What if this changes everything? These thoughts create anxiety, and instead of facing it, we escape by doing something else, something easy, familiar, and safe. For example, instead of starting that presentation, you decide to reorganize your desk or scroll through TikTok. These distractions temporarily soothe the fear, but the task remains untouched and the cycle continues. The second one is the perfectionism trap. Have you ever thought, if I can't do this perfectly, I might as well not do it at all? That's perfectionism talking. Dr. Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability and shame, calls perfectionism a 20-ton shield. It's something we use to protect ourselves from criticism or failure, but it ends up weighing us down instead. Imagine you're writing an essay. You think it has to be perfect. Every sentence, every word. That pressure can be so overwhelming that instead of starting, you avoid it altogether. Ironically, aiming for perfection often stops us from making any progress at all. The third one is instant gratification loop. Let's face it, your brain loves rewards, especially quick ones. That's where dopamine comes in. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain that makes you feel good when you achieve something. But here's the problem. Scrolling social media, watching Netflix, or eating snacks gives you an instant dopamine hit. Meanwhile, big, important tasks, like studying, writing, or starting a project, don't give that same quick reward. Instead, they feel slow, hard, and unrewarding in the moment. So, your brain does the math. Why work on something difficult now when I can feel good instantly by doing something easier? That's why you procrastinate even when you know it's not the best choice. And the fourth one is decision paralysis. Have you ever looked at a big project or a long to-do list and felt completely stuck? That's decision paralysis. Psychologist Dr. Barry Schwartz calls this the paradox of choice. When there are too many decisions to make, like where to start, what to prioritize, or how to tackle a task, your brain gets overwhelmed. And when it's overwhelmed, it shuts down. Imagine standing in front of a huge buffet with 50 dishes. You're hungry, but there are so many options that you don't know what to pick. So, instead of deciding, you do nothing. That's exactly what happens when you face a big project without breaking it down. So, what are we trying to mean here? The information that we are trying to pass is, procrastination isn't a weakness. It's a natural response to fear, perfectionism, and our brain's love for comfort and quick rewards. But the good news is this. Once you understand why it happens, you can start taking small, simple steps to break the cycle. So, let's dive into the simple steps on how we can stop procrastination. This strategy, shared by productivity expert James Clear, is all about getting started. Getting started is often the hardest part of any task, You know what you need to do, but the thought of doing it feels overwhelming. That's where the 2-minute rule comes in. It's a simple trick that helps you overcome that first hurdle. Here's how it works. If a task can be done in 2 minutes or less, do it right away. Don't overthink it. Don't put it off. Just take action. For example, got an email to respond to. Do it now. Need to take out the trash? Get it done. Haven't drunk water in hours. Fill your glass and take a sip. These tiny tasks may seem insignificant, but finishing them quickly clears your mind and prevents them from piling up and stressing you later. But what about bigger tasks? Writing a report, starting a big project, or cleaning an entire room can't be done in 2 minutes, right? That's okay, the 2-minute rule still works. The secret is to break big tasks into small, manageable steps, ones that you can do in 2 minutes or less. Instead of focusing on the overwhelming end goal, focus on a tiny first step. For example, if you need to write a report, tell yourself, I'll just open the document and type 1 sentence. If you need to clean the house, think, I'll start by putting away 1 pair of shoes. If you want to exercise but don't feel like it, say, I'll put on my workout clothes and stretch for 2 minutes. These tiny steps are so easy that they don't feel intimidating. And here's the magic. Once you start, you're likely to keep going. Writing 1 sentence often turns into writing a paragraph. Putting away 1 item can lead to tidying an entire room. Starting a stretch may inspire you to finish a quick workout. This strategy is backed by psychology. When you start small, you remove the fear or pressure that often comes with big tasks. You're telling your brain, this isn't hard, I can do this. Momentum is a powerful force. Taking a small action triggers the progress principle, which says that even small wins can motivate you to keep going. It's like pushing a snowball down a hill. Once it starts rolling, it builds up speed and grows bigger. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, explains it best. A habit must be established before it can be improved. The 2-minute rule helps you start building that habit by making it ridiculously easy to begin. Let's say you've been procrastinating on exercising. Instead of committing to an hour-long workout, use the 2-minute rule. Put on your workout shoes. Step outside and take a deep breath. Do 1 push-up or take a short walk. That's it. If you stop there, you've still succeeded. You've started. But most likely, you'll keep going because starting helps you feel capable and energized. The 2-minute rule isn't just about finishing small tasks. It's about building habits and breaking through the mental resistance that holds you back. It shows you that action doesn't have to feel heavy or impossible. The next time you face a big, intimidating task, remember, you don't have to climb the whole mountain right away. Just take the first step, a small one that takes less than 2 minutes. You've got this. Start small and let momentum do the rest. Sometimes staying focused feels like an impossible challenge. Your mind keeps wandering, you get distracted, or tasks seem too big to handle all at once. That's where the Pomodoro technique comes in. It's a simple method to boost your focus, make tasks feel manageable, and get more done without burning out. Neuroscientists say our brains are more focused and productive in short bursts. Think of it like running sprints instead of a marathon. These breaks also keep your energy up so you don't burn out. The Pomodoro technique is like giving your brain a structured workout. It breaks your work into smaller, focused chunks, followed by short, refreshing breaks. Here's how you do it. Pick 1 task to work on. It could be anything: writing, studying, cleaning, or even brainstorming ideas. Set a timer for 25 minutes. This is your focused work session called a Pomodoro. Work on the task without interruptions. Stay fully focused. If other thoughts pop into your mind, write them down to deal with later. When the timer rings, stop working. No matter where you are in the task, take a 5-minute break. Stretch, drink water, or just relax. Repeat this cycle 4 times. After completing 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break, about 15 to 30 minutes, to recharge. Here's why this technique is so effective. Short bursts are easier for your brain. Research shows that the human brain naturally works better in shorter, focused intervals rather than trying to concentrate for hours at a time. These short 25-minute sessions feel achievable, so you're less likely to feel overwhelmed and quit before you even start. Breaks also prevent burnout, as working without breaks can exhaust your brain and lead to mistakes. But when you give yourself permission to rest every 25 minutes, you recharge your mental energy. This keeps you sharp and motivated throughout the day. Focus also feels rewarding. Every time you finish a Pomodoro, it feels like a small win. This creates a sense of accomplishment and motivates you to keep going. Plus, the breaks are something to look forward to, which makes the work feel less like a chore. Let's say you have a big project due, a research paper for example. The thought of spending hours on it feels daunting, so you break it down with the Pomodoro technique. In your first Pomodoro, you focus on gathering research materials. In the second, you create an outline. In the third, you write the introduction. By the fourth, you start drafting the main sections. Each session is just 25 minutes long, so it doesn't feel overwhelming. And after each session, you take a 5-minute break to stretch or grab a snack. By the end of the day, you've made significant progress without feeling drained. Here are the tips to make the Pomodoro technique work for you. Remove distractions. Before starting, put your phone on silent, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and let others know you need uninterrupted time. Start with one cycle. If 25 minutes feels like too much, start with just one Pomodoro. Once you see how much you can accomplish, you'll feel more confident. Adjust the timing if needed. If 25 minutes feels too short or too long, experiment with different time blocks, like 20 or 30 minutes. The goal is to find what works best for you. At its core, the Pomodoro technique is about progress, not perfection. It's a way to chip away at big tasks, one focused session at a time. And as you complete each Pomodoro, you'll feel more productive, more in control, and less stressed. Remember, even the hardest tasks can be tackled in small, manageable steps. All you have to do is start the timer and focus on one thing. Are you ready to give it a try? One big reason we procrastinate is that the task feels too hard or boring. But what if you could make it feel simpler or more enjoyable? By removing obstacles and adding rewards, you can reduce the resistance and make it easier to get started. When a task feels overwhelming, preparation is key. Setting yourself up the night before or a few minutes before starting can make the first step feel effortless. For example, if you want to exercise in the morning but struggle to get out the door, lay out your workout clothes, shoes, and water bottle the night before. That way, when you wake up, you're already halfway ready. If you need to study or work on a project, tidy up your workspace beforehand. Have everything you need, your notebook, laptop, or tools, already in place. When your environment is ready, starting becomes much easier. This small effort in preparation removes excuses like "I'm not ready yet" or "I don't have time to get organized." Your brain loves rewards. When you attach something enjoyable to completing a task, you motivate yourself to start and finish it. For example, tell yourself, "After I finish writing this report, I'll watch my favorite Netflix show." Now the task doesn't just feel like work, it comes with a fun payoff. If you clean your room, reward yourself with a snack, a coffee, or even a few minutes of scrolling on social media. The key is to give yourself something small and satisfying to look forward to. Rewards make tasks feel less like chores and more like opportunities to earn something positive. If a task still feels too big, break it into tiny steps that seem easy to tackle. For example, instead of saying, "I need to clean the entire house," focus on one small task like putting away the dishes. Once that's done, the next step will feel easier. If you need to write a long paper, start with a 5-minute outline or write just one sentence. The momentum from completing even a small part can push you to do more. These small changes, preparing ahead, offering rewards, and breaking tasks into bite-sized steps, help reduce the mental resistance to starting. They make tasks feel achievable and even enjoyable. By lowering the pressure and adding incentives, you shift your focus from thinking about how hard something is to how manageable and rewarding it can be. The result? You'll feel more motivated to take action. Perfectionism is one of the biggest reasons we procrastinate. It's that voice in our head telling us, "If I can't do it perfectly, I shouldn't do it at all." This idea can freeze us in place and stop us from starting a task. But here's an important truth. Perfection is not the goal, progress is. When we focus too much on getting something perfect, it often leads to fear, stress, and even inaction. We end up thinking that if we can't do it flawlessly, we're better off not doing it at all. But this mindset only makes procrastination worse. Dr. Carol Dweck, a psychologist famous for her research on the growth mindset, explains that it's better to focus on learning and improving rather than trying to be perfect from the start. When we embrace the idea that mistakes are a part of growth, it becomes easier to take action. Think of this. You can't improve something that doesn't exist. A rough draft, a messy plan, or an imperfect idea is still better than having nothing at all. The first step is to get started. It's okay if it's not perfect because starting is progress. Let's say you want to write a book, but you're afraid it won't be good enough. The key is to start writing, even if the first version is far from perfect. The important thing is that you now have something to work with. Later you can edit, rewrite, and improve it. But none of that is possible unless you start. Perfectionism often leads to the belief that everything needs to be perfect from the beginning, which is not true. Instead, think about the small wins, taking the first step, no matter how imperfect it seems. If you want to get fit but feel discouraged because you're not in perfect shape, start with a 10-minute walk. It's better to walk for 10 minutes today than to wait until you feel perfect to go for an hour-long run. Each small step counts toward improvement. Starting imperfectly allows you to learn by doing. The more you take action, the more you improve. The key is to embrace imperfection and use it as fuel for growth. Remember, mistakes are part of the process. Mistakes aren't failures, they're lessons. If you make a mistake, it simply means you're trying, you're learning, and you're moving forward. Instead of being afraid of mistakes, see them as stepping stones toward your goal. The more you learn from your mistakes, the better you become. Take action, even if it's messy. It's easy to wait for the perfect time to start, but that perfect moment rarely comes. Start now, even if things aren't ideal. The important thing is that you're moving forward, and that's what really matters. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Visualization is a powerful technique that athletes, performers, and successful people use all the time. But it's not just for big goals or sports, it works for everyday tasks too. In fact, it can be the key to overcoming procrastination and getting started. Visualization is simply imagining yourself successfully completing a task or achieving a goal. It's like mentally rehearsing the steps you'll take to get there and feeling the positive emotions you'll experience when it's done. When you picture yourself succeeding, your brain believes that success is possible, and this can motivate you to take action. It shifts your focus from the challenge of starting to the rewarding feelings of accomplishment. Start by closing your eyes and thinking about the task ahead. Imagine yourself doing it step by step. Visualize how good it will feel to finish. Here's how you can apply this technique. If you're dreading cleaning your room, close your eyes and picture yourself in a clean, organized space. Imagine how calm and peaceful you'll feel sitting in that room. You might even picture yourself enjoying your favorite activity in that clean space, like reading or watching a movie. This positive mental image will make the idea of cleaning seem less stressful. If you have a big project at school or work, picture the sense of pride and relief you'll feel when it's completed and turned in on time. Visualize your teacher, boss, or peers praising your work. Imagine the weight being lifted off your shoulders once the task is finished. This mental reward makes the work seem more worthwhile. By focusing on the positive feelings you'll have after finishing, the task seems less overwhelming and more motivating. When you visualize success, your brain begins to link the task with positive emotions. This helps you focus on the reward of completing the task instead of the discomfort of starting. Studies show that when we imagine positive outcomes, our brain releases the same chemicals that come with actual success, like dopamine, which is linked to feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. So, when you visualize success, your brain feels like it's already achieving something, which can make it easier to take the first step. Sometimes the hardest part of any task is simply getting started. We can feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of how to begin. Visualization helps push through this resistance. If you're putting off a difficult assignment, imagine how much easier the task will feel once you break it down into smaller steps. Picture yourself working through each small task, checking things off one by one and getting closer to completing it. This creates a sense of momentum and helps you push through the initial hesitation. The next time you're tempted to procrastinate, take a few moments to visualize success. Close your eyes, see the finished task, and imagine how you'll feel. This will help you see the benefits of getting started and push past the resistance. Visualization makes success feel real and achievable. It encourages you to take the first step, knowing that the reward is worth it. One of the best ways to stop procrastinating and stay on track is by having someone else involved in your goals. When we know someone else is counting on us, it makes us more committed. This is called accountability. When we work alone, it's easy to put things off. We might say, "I'll do it later," or "It's not that important right now." But when someone else knows what we're working on, we feel more responsibility to follow through. It's like having a safety net to help us stay focused. Having someone to check in with can make all the difference. Knowing that someone will ask about our progress pushes us to take action and get things done. There are many ways you can use accountability to help you reach your goals. Here are a few ideas. 1. Share your goals with a friend. Tell a friend, "I want to finish this project by Friday. Can you check in with me on Thursday to see how I'm doing?" Knowing they'll ask you about it makes you more likely to get started and stay on track. 2. Find a study or work partner. If you're working on something, team up with someone who has a similar goal. You can set a time to meet and share your progress. Just knowing someone else is expecting you to show up and report your results makes you more committed. 3. Join a group or community. There are many online communities or local groups where you can share your goals and progress. Being part of a group can give you extra motivation because everyone is working towards something, and you can all encourage each other. Accountability doesn't have to be serious or stressful. You can make it enjoyable. Here are a few ways to do this. Turn it into a challenge. Challenge a friend to see who can finish their tasks faster or with the best quality. The friendly competition can make the work feel less like a chore. Work together. If you're both working on different projects, set a time to work side by side. You don't have to talk all the time, but just being around someone else working can keep you focused. When accountability becomes fun, it stops feeling like a burden and becomes a source of motivation. The more you have someone to check in with, the more it becomes a habit. You'll start looking forward to these check-ins because they keep you moving forward. Over time, accountability becomes a tool that helps you build consistency and discipline. You'll learn to expect progress reports and hold yourself to a higher standard, making it easier to stay motivated and get things done. Remember, you're not alone. It's easy to feel like you have to handle everything by yourself, but you don't. Find someone to share your goals with. When you have support, whether it's a friend, a coach, or a group, you're more likely to succeed. Accountability helps turn your goals into reality and pushes you to take action, even on the days when you'd rather put things off. Procrastination is something we all face. It's a struggle that unites us as human beings, but here's the truth. It doesn't have to define us. It's not who you are. It's just a habit, a pattern your brain has fallen into. And like any habit, it can be changed. The next time you feel the pull of procrastination, pause for a moment. Recognize that you're not alone. We all have moments when we hesitate, moments when fear or doubt slows us down. But what sets high achievers apart is not that they never feel this hesitation, it's that they act despite it. Greatness doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from starting when it feels imperfect. It comes from taking a small, brave step forward even when you don't feel ready. Remember, it's not about making huge leaps all at once. It's about making consistent, small moves toward your goal. Here's the beauty of it. Once you start, even with the smallest action, you build momentum. And momentum is powerful. It turns hesitation into progress and transforms dreams into reality. So, let me ask you, what's your first step today? Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's writing down an idea, sending an email, or setting a timer for 10 minutes of focused work. Whatever it is, take that first step now. Imagine your future self, the person who has finished that project, built that dream, or achieved that goal. Picture how proud they are of you. They're waiting, cheering you on from the other side. Don't keep them waiting any longer. You're capable of so much more than you realize. We're in this together, walking the same path of growth and action. Today is the day you take control. Today is the day you start, no matter how small, because every journey to greatness begins the same way, with a single step. Now let's take that step. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking it. It helps support the channel and lets me know I'm providing content that resonates with you. And if you want more practical advice and motivation, don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next. As the saying goes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Start today, take that step, and keep moving toward your goals. Thanks for watching, and remember, you've got this.